If I see the technical setup for the short and I take it and it doesn't work, then I exit. I have an exit. If I see a technical setup for a short and I get a bounce, but the bounce doesn't hold, then I double down. So there's nothing that could, here, let me state it this way, Falcon. It's his mindset, but it's also the way I trade. There is nothing that can happen to NVIDIA, for me, for my trades, that will screw me. Nothing. There's nothing that can happen. Well, what if it bounces and reverses? Well, then I'll exit because I have a level in which I'm out of the trade. And it's a pilot position, so I will exit on my pilot. To me, that's a win. If I see a setup that works, that triggers, that has momentum, that I can price right and get in, and I create an exit for myself to get out if it doesn't work, and I allocate correctly, there's nothing that can happen to NVIDIA that will rain on my parade. If it goes down, I make money. Watch this. If it goes up on a bounce where I think it's a legit bounce, that could continue a little bit, I may put on a hedge. If it continues, the hedge makes money. If it eventually hits resistance and fails, my hedge did its job, and now I'm going to take the money from that and double down on my short. If it doesn't hit resistance and fall, and it becomes higher highs, higher lows, then I will take the next pullback as an opportunity to ease out of this position, take whatever money I got left here, take the money that I made here, which was a lot more, boom, boom, and I will invest in long. And then I'm going that way. And I can double down on a pullback. I'll hedge this way. Find support and goes back up. I'll double down and add to the position with the hedge money. I can't lose. Now, when I say I can't lose, can I lose money? Yes, but I can lose an amount of money that I'm okay with. Not only because I allocate properly, but because I don't necessarily let every trade go to zero. I have an exit. I have a cut loss level that I will create. If I hit that level, I'm out. If I bounce like this and okay, it's bouncing, I can choose to put on a hedge or I could just wait it out. If it cuts through, I can choose to stay in and risk it all or wait for the reversal. If it doesn't work, I'm out. But that's okay because I allocated properly for it. Do you see what I mean? You will never hear me say, I got killed on NVIDIA. I got killed on Tesla. But how many times have you read in this chat, oh my God, I got killed on USO, or I lost this on that. I lost this, I lost that, right? Wrong mindset, amateur hour is what that is. Because losing money is part of trading. Making money is part of trading. What is the distinction between a rank amateur that has more losses than wins is one that trades without discipline and rules. If you add discipline and rules and allocation, which is what I teach, and I teach you to practice it first before going live. If you get a handle on your allocation, and if you have rules and tools, patience and discipline, it won't matter what happens, especially if you follow my trades. If at worst case, I only gave you a 65% win rate on the alerts that we send out. If you get out at 70% loss on the trades that don't work, the 35%ers, right? And the 65% trades, you have doubles, triples, add to trades that make more money, trades you get out maybe with a little bit of profit. When you add all this up, it's net positive. It's this. It's a steady upward equity curve. If you don't allocate properly, you end up losing more on these than you make on these. And it distracts you. And so what you end up doing is you start trading from fear. When you trade from fear, you allocate even less. And then when you should have had your foot on the gas and added with the proper rules and levels that we talk about, you're sitting there with one silly little contract. Or you got out at 20% profit because you got scared while the rest of us made 300%. You're like, oh my God, that would have made up for so many trades. So then what you try to do, you try to make up for so many trades, and then you over allocate the next time around. This is just amateur hour. So there's a video. So many of you are trading live and haven't watched the 10 musts to master or the nugget farm. Big mistake. Why would you do that? When I've told you, you trust me, right? And I told you, don't trade until, but you still do it anyway. And you still don't watch the nugget farm, because I can look into your dashboards and see. There's a video in the nugget farm called There Is No Right or Wrong in Trading. There isn't. In professional trading, that is. Because if I trade with a setup and I use a proper allocation, I know where my exit is, I know how to add, and I know how to hedge, and I know how to manage my position if it goes wrong or whatever happens, right? If I do this, practice it, and once I trade this way, there literally is no wrong that I can do. There's no right, there's no wrong. There's just execute. If the trade works, money goes into my account. If the trade doesn't work, money comes out of my account. If I add to a trade and it works, even more money. If I put on a hedge and it works, great. If it turns out the hedge goes in the other direction, it goes in the direction of the hedge, and I lose my initial, well, I'm going to lose that. But then I'm going to put the money over here. Next trade I lose, next trade I lose, next trade I lose, next trade I win. Next trade I lose, then I might make a bigger win. In the end, if you look at this piece versus this piece, and this is what you do: setup, allo, exit, add, hedge when you need it, manage your trades. If that's all you do without emotion and you're following rules, your account will just go like this. It's that simple. It'll just do this.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video from Trade With Me Now. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you make sure that you catch our next video right when it's released. Also, if you have a question or comment, please leave that in the comments section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Trade With Me Now or join our community of profitable traders, go to tradewithmenow.com. There's also a link in the description below.